right, get some. Welcome to Racin Stuff, the show where we talk about racing and stuff, and other stuff, I mean other sports. And as usual, I'm here with Chris, my good friend.
How's it going?
Yeah, good. And also here with my other good friend, the infamous Kyle Dieter. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing good. Hello, Chris and Doug.
Kyle finally makes his appearance after we've probably mentioned him. You know, I was thinking about this. We've probably mentioned Kyle on about half of our shows at least once.
Yeah, I have to apologize because I'm sure we hyped him up, and it's a major disappointment when you actually see.
Don't say that.
Oh, come on.
Don't say that.
That's. Oh, come on. Oh, come on, man. I made it sound like you're a mythic figure by this point, and it's like, oh, you mean that nerdy white kid?
Hey, I got some sun. I'm a little dark from this past weekend.
Yeah, don't lift up that sleeve; it might blind the cameras.
Yeah, actually, look at that. Kyle provided a nice little segue there.
All right. And first things first, as always, is the NASCAR race, and similar to when we covered Michigan about a month ago, you guys, both of you, were actually in attendance at the NASCAR race, and so while I came in on that Monday after Michigan, I was like, "Let me tell you about how that race went." It's your turn. So tell me, what did you see besides, Mark Martin dominated that the people at home didn't see this weekend at Chicagoland last Saturday, 2 days ago?
Well, I know one thing I heard because obviously, like you at Michigan, I was listening
to Junior's radio.
Well, what I tried to do was I tried to switch a fair amount between the 500 cars and the 2 Red Bull cars, and then in addition to that, I was switching between MRN and, like, if anything happened. Like, I was actually listening to Kyle Busch a little bit because right when he hit the wall, I wanted to see how he was going to react and how he was going to be the rest of the race.
Wasn't that early too when he hit the wall?
It was very early. It was like 50 laps in. I kept Kyle. I think I kept saying like 15 laps in. I guess it ended up being like 50, but those first few kind of like flew by.
Yeah, it started like kind of like the Busch race was, just a long run, and we're thinking again, is this going to be a potential no caution race? But then NASCAR threw one. Yeah,
did you see there were 3 mystery debris cautions?
I did see that. But no, it was what I heard a lot. Just stuff that you don't get to see when you just hear it on TV. A lot of drivers just interacting about the most of the drivers, other than Mark Martin, were like, my car is just loose in, tight in the middle, loose off, and then like vice versa. And a lot of drivers were really struggling to find the car. And I think it was pretty apparent early on. Nobody had anything for the 5. And what's really funny is I didn't get a chance to tell you this yet. Kyle heard this. Mark Martin, when about halfway when he was dominating, got on the radio and said, "Well, guys, my car is not that good right now, but it's okay." Which is funny because he was absolutely wiping the floor with the field.
I'm sure you got my text about what he said early in the race, or he was like pulling away by like a 4-second lead, and they showed a clip of him on the radio, and he was like, "Well, I'm just riding right now. Car's pretty good. Let me know when you want me to put the hammer down."
Yeah, which is just insane to think about. Usually you'd hear the car's okay, but not that great from a guy that's like 7th place, not somebody that's pulling away by 5 or 6 seconds.
But no one had anything for him the whole race.
No. Well, who is it? Somebody sent me a text message when you guys left about Gordon almost had him or could have had him on that restart, something like that. And I was like, Gordon had nothing for Martin. Nobody had anything for Martin. When he was out front, nobody could touch him.
Yeah, it was that one double file restart that cost him. And which I will say, when he did get passed and he was in, 2nd or 3rd, he was not catching up. He was running there.
And here's the here's the main thing about that you think it's interesting is that I think it comes down to clean air, and I've been saying this all along, which is that the car of tomorrow needs to be out front, point blank, and anybody that's out front is Superman. And Martin, I mean, that wasn't the first caution or whatever. He came down pit road, and that's when he came off the pit road as a leader.
Yeah,
and all that.
Yeah, because Johnson was the leader until then.
Right,
and that's when once he was there, nobody could touch him. But once he got passed by somebody, he couldn't touch that person. And actually, I would argue that probably he could have taken the 11 and the 83 had they not almost wrecked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, a couple other interesting things. It's just interesting to hear, some of the chatter between the drivers. I know this didn't happen in the Cup race; it happened in the Busch race. But on Friday night, when they went almost halfway without a caution, Kevin Harvick came on his radio and said, he said, guys, I could really use a caution right about now. I wonder when NASCAR is going to find some debris. And it's just, you heard stuff like that. I heard JPM saying definitely some things that can't be repeated.
Yeah, just like Michigan.
And it's just really interesting.
I'm just curious, was Montoya berating his crew chief? Because he was definitely, like, calling his crew chief names at Michigan.
No, well, one thing, the specific segment I heard, he was screaming about the actually, I think it was the 7 car. I think he was screaming about Robbie Gordon.
Yeah. What? No, you don't say. Somebody was upset at something Robbie Gordon did on the racetrack.
So
you're kidding? No. You jest. Surely you jest.
No, he was. Yeah, I think it was the 7.
Robbie Gordon has finally gone down the drain.
So, but it was just interesting, and like another thing that was interesting was, and you guys have both heard this, but it was just interesting how, it's just interesting to hear like the raw emotions that you won't necessarily hear in an interview, and like
unless it's Kyle Busch, you'll hear it in an interview then.
But I mean, like, it was just it's just the emotion that you hear. Scott Speed, like, for example, was just like, I just can't catch a break, and he just sounded so sad.
He was doing a sad puppy.
Yeah, he definitely was.
He was a sad face.
He definitely was, and it's very interesting when you're there. It's just completely different. It's not even the same. Not even close to the same.
Yeah, I gotta know, how awesome was the Paul Menard, Scott Speed, Jeff Burton wreck?
Not
live?
Awesome at all.
From where we were sitting, you could see some cars spinning and smoke.
Oh, that's right. You guys were left of the surface.
Yeah.
All I saw, because Josh and I were looking at it. I don't know if you were looking at it live when it happened, but all I saw was Menard's.
I
tire
saw
explode.
Oh, I didn't see. I saw a car spinning down the track and then collect a bunch of other cars. But all I could do after that was watch the rest of the cars come around the track and hope I didn't see Junior.
And also, I'd point out, since we're talking about that wreck, again, Jeff Burton gets caught up in it, and you see now he's 17th in points. So I said a few weeks ago, even though I am kind of changing my stance just because I couldn't think of anybody better, Burton is seriously in danger of missing the chase.
Yep.
I don't think he can come back from this. I don't.
Yep.
Vickers has a long shot, and Boyer's a long
shot.
Well,
another interesting thing, and this might spark something here, but I'm just going to say right now, Kyle Busch is 10th and is only 4 points in the chase. I'm going to say, Doug, he's got 6 top 10s this year. At some point, you got to say, well, maybe he's not a shoe-in. Maybe he's not.
No, he's a shoe-in.
I disagree. How can
you
say that?
You disagree because he's 4 points out right now, but he's going to come back. I think Mark Martin's a shoe-in. He just had to got back in there.
Okay, but how can you say somebody that's had 6 top 10s in 19 races is a shoe-in? I don't think
because he has the speed. Because his cars have been good. It's not. He's not where he is because he has got slow cars. Jeff Burton is where he is because he has slow cars and because he got into wrecks. That's twofold. He wasn't doing well enough without that. Kyle Busch, I'm sure, will make the chase because next week or next time at Indy or Pocono or somewhere down the line, he's going to have a car that's going to be one of the best because that team is still one of the best teams in NASCAR.
Doesn't mean if you're one of the best if you continually take yourself out and finish 14th, 15th, 16th, 20th, 25th.
I believe he'll do it. I believe he'll get it done.
Do I ultimately think he'll make the chase? Unfortunately, but I mean, I just think that I would not. What do you think, Kyle? I mean,
well, was there 7 races left before the chase?
Yeah.
Even I would say Boyer's probably the last guy that could possibly make it, and he probably won't. But with
Boyer's
7 races left, even 120 points out of the chase, who's to say, like Juan Pablo Montoya or
Newman even
could string together a couple bad runs and then you just get back in there. There's still a lot of racing left before the chase.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying he's clinched it like for Kyle Busch or anybody really. But I mean, I think based off of how he's run this year, he can outrun Montoya any day of the week. He can outrun Casey Kane any day of the week. He can outrun even Newman most days of the week. If he just gets his head out of his rear most days and doesn't have a day like he did at Chicago where he hits the wall early and basically kind of gives up on his day, that's the thing only thing that worries me is that it seems like he's still doing that immature, I give up when it doesn't go my way right away thing. But if he can just hold it together and persevere a little bit, they have the speed. And if they have the speed, I think they'll make it.
And actually what you said about that, right after he hit the wall, he did say, because Kyle, your dad heard this too, right after he hit the wall on the radio, they were talking for the next few laps before he pitted about, okay, we're going to do this, and this, and what else, how is it driving, what else do we need to do? And he was like, don't do anything to it. He's like, we might as well just park it. This car's crap, forget it. And, and I paraphrase, but that's what he was saying.
And after he hit the wall, he should have, he knows